Hello, this is ButterBot 2.2. We're going to be going over the rest of the redesign. This is specifically link 2 and the wrist. Now, if you don't remember the previous link 2, there's the video about it. It's like 5 minutes long. Just go watch it. It's right there. Okay, anyway, now that you've for sure seen that video, this robot needs to cut butter, and that requires this range of motion. And most of those kinds of motions, for weight reasons or like weight distribution reasons, would need a second joint, this portion of the wrist to be equal to the elbow. This portion of the wrist to be equal to the elbow. And I decided not to do that because it's hard and I think it's unnecessary. So instead I gave him lock joint, and I'm keeping him at a set angle this way rather than have a full functioning wrist there, and opted instead for just full rotation because there's no rotation on a movable plane other than that point. So since that part of the wrist was just going to be a set offset, I made the decision to make that part of the wrist completely attached to link 2, which made the print very difficult. Tedious, you might say. 4 times of wasted plastic, you might also say. So we went away with that this time, and we're going to use our newfound machine fits, and I did this instead. Now, the motor is currently in this piece, but what I basically did is I just separated the 2 weird shapes so that they could just be put together. Now, this is a machine fit, so you can see. I'll just show you. Slides in, and it doesn't come out. Now, that might be good enough for some, that'll be good enough for most weight, but just in case, I put threads in there. So what will happen is bolts will go in these holes to make sure this is secured to place. This does a few things. For one, this piece is now a lot easier to print, and this piece is very easy to print as well. So now I turned one difficult piece into 2 very easy pieces. What this also does is now I can keep this piece for its pure length. And if I ever want to change, this motor shape, this angle, or anything about this wrist, maybe I want to replace this with an actual joint at some point, I have this blank black box connection that'll fit into this piece, and then this shape can be fully changed to whatever I want and then reprinted. So this pushes in on the modularity as well as just making everything a better print. This is one of I'm really proud of this one. Another thing that's new that I haven't shown you yet is what are called heat set inserts. Before, when I was doing this, they were all temporary. I was going to use either the plastic pins that I would print or screw directly into plastic and hope it was strong enough. That is good enough. But since I'm talking so much about modularity and I want these to really be reusable pieces, if I didn't put threads in there to actually make them reusable, I would just be lying to myself. So what I've done is that every one of these holes, they were for M3s. And so they were 3 millimeters wide, so you could screw in a 3 millimeter screw. I have replaced those holes with the size of 4.6 millimeters so that I could put in what are called heat set inserts. You put a soldering iron on the brass end and you just push it into the hole, and it melts the plastic around it. And so now that inside metal piece is threaded. It just it's really nice, and it makes all these pieces just look better. That's all for this one. Next time, I'm gonna go over some new pieces I've designed for this build that'll help with testing as well as make things just a little bit more broad in use. See you then.